are The Cool Kids, sponsored by Bacon, Egg, and Cheese, the podcast. Make sure you check it out. If you were a kid growing up in the 1980s or 1990s, I know you're familiar with the Transformers. The Transformers are a major franchise. We've received over 7 movies since 2007. In this video, I'm going to go down the Transformers timeline. I'm not going to cover all the movies, but just some. The Transformers movie universe is very large. Even Bumblebee had a movie in 2018. Now, this was a solo movie for Bumblebee, which took place in the 1990s, and it did pretty good in the box office. The movie is also starring WWE wrestler John Cena, which is just a great actor. If you haven't seen this movie and you love fun family movies, check it out. Bumblebee is a comic relief character who has always been super funny. He's just a funny character that always makes you laugh even if you're a kid or an adult. He has a battle mask and he has energy swords and he always transforms into a Camaro. Let's continue on with the video and keep on going with the different movies on the Transformers timeline. In 2023, we actually got to see the Transformers from Beast Wars on the big screen. In Beast Wars, the good Transformers are called Maximals and their leader is called Optimus Primal. Now, he's a Prime just like Optimus Prime, just a different version, and he has a cool form, which is a gorilla. Let me go ahead and say it. Just to see Optimus Primal meet Optimus Prime on the big screen, it was everything. The interaction between the two Primes on the big screen was cool to see. I always wanted them to meet. Now, if you're a hardcore Transformers fan, you definitely know who the Dinobots are, and we got to see them on the big screen. The Dinobots appeared on the big screen in 2017 in the Transformers movie The Last Knight. A scene that stands out to me in that movie is Optimus Prime riding Grimlock into battle. Grimlock also was spitting fire and flames out of his mouth, and he went to work on the bad guys. The only issue that I had with this movie is we never got to see the Dinobots in their robot form. If you're not familiar with the Dinobots in the franchise, they're Autobots that can transform into dinosaurs. The leader of the Dinobots is called Grimlock, and most people would consider him stronger than Optimus Prime. What's cool about Grimlock is when he's actually not a robot, he transforms into a T-Rex. But let's get into the video. The first Transformers movie came out in 1986, and it was animated. If you haven't seen the 1986 Transformers movie, make sure you go see it right now. It's a cult classic. The franchise was rebooted in 2007, and since then, we've only received live-action movies. But in 2024, the Transformers returned back to the big screen in animation. Now, if you haven't seen the movie yet, click off now. Spoiler warnings, I'm about to go into detail. After watching Transformers 1, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a really good movie, and I haven't seen nothing but good reviews online. Transformers 1 is a fun movie. It has some really good scenes. Transformers 1 was full of action-packed scenes, and it had character development for all characters. If I had to give Transformers 1 a rating right now, I would give it a strong 10 out of a 10. Transformers 1 is like an origin story between Megatron and Optimus Prime. The movie actually goes into detail on how Megatron actually became Megatron. It's crazy if you watch the movie because we receive a different take on Megatron. He was a good person. Megatron didn't become the Megatron that we know until he started rebelling against people on his planet. And to be honest, Megatron was valid in rebelling. He just handled the situation wrong. And let's talk about how accurate this movie was. They actually got Megatron with his arm cannon in it. And when I tell you Megatron be ready to put in work with that arm cannon, he be ready to put in work. From the beginning of the movie, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually shocked to see Megatron and Optimus Prime were actually friends. Which to me, this was mind-blowing on so many levels because I always thought that they were enemies. Also in the movie, we actually got to see Optimus Prime in a different form, in a different light. In Transformers 1, Optimus Prime actually had a teenager personality. He was fun. Also in this movie, we got to see Optimus Prime turn into his iconic 18-wheeler. Transformers 1 actually shows how Optimus Prime became Optimus Prime, so it's an origin story. Again, this movie just got everything right. Optimus Prime actually had his battle axe in it. I'm telling you, it was very cool to see Optimus Prime pull out his battle axe right before war. I love how they actually paid attention to detail and actually did their homework on Transformers lore. And if you haven't seen the new Transformers 1 movie, make sure you go support it and go see it right now.